click, click, red light. Where's the green light? It says in the software, green light will appear soon. So wait, there it is. There it is. We're live, baby. I'm Max. This is Max Rants. I rant about one thing or another. Occasionally it's something nice or sweet, but not this time. Okay, I want to talk to you. I've got a real concern here about charities that don't tell the truth, or that operate ineffectively, or that spend way too damn much money on themselves, yada, 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 yada. Today I want to talk about one that has really irked me. I did some homework, got my kids into it, we've looked it up. It's called, get the name right, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. You know, this charity, is it a scam? It would seem to be, but then again, I'm never going to call it a scam. I'm just going to lay the facts out for you and let you make your own decision. Now, personal opinion, I think they should name the charity the International Fellowship of Christians Supporting Jews. Why do I say that? Well, because they seem to play on the sympathy of Christians, targeting those who believe that Jews are God's people. Donning the cloak of being God's favorite, they reach into your pockets with this expertly crafted propaganda. I swear to God, fact, Jews are not God's chosen people. They were at one time, but they have long since broken the covenant between them and God. A covenant's like a contract, okay? When you break one side or the other, there are two parties. When someone violates it, the contract becomes null and void. It's an invalid instrument. You're no longer God's favorite or chosen people. Could this be that, God, what is it, okay? I'm looking at this. The most hard-hearted and greedy people on the planet have surrendered, the blessings of being God's chosen, his favorite people. They aren't anymore, okay? A covenant, as I said, it's a two-way street, for God's sake. They broke it. But there you go. Once the Jews screwed God, they lost their place as his chosen people. Masters of propaganda, these Jews tug at the heartstrings, pull on the purse strings of people around the world, and they've done this for generations, always seeking sympathy, cash in exchange. Each time they get a little bit better because their propaganda is evolving, and I guess you could probably say that practice makes perfect. On a few of the ads for the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, you've seen her in the commercials. Her name is Yael Eckstein, get it right, Yael Eckstein Farkas, daughter of the founder. Now, her salary is reported to be well in excess of $769,244 a year, plus an expense account that is kept top secret, but rumored to be a bottomless checkbook. Now, understand, this foundation guards their finances even more tightly and strictly than the Mormon Church. The closest we can come to it's an estimated expense account of around about $500,000 for her. Okay, you got $500,000 and you get a salary of $769,244. There's a lot of money out there for this little charity. We'll talk about what they do and don't do. By the way, what they don't do is help anybody other than Jews. Not a penny can be found that went to Christians, even those in more need. But we'll get to it. Okay? Oh, God. Their chief operating officer, who stays off camera, is Robin Van Etten. Robin's salary is $464,155, plus an expense account that is believed to be just about as bottomless and is definitely as top secret, but again believed to be around about $500,000. So where can I sign up for this kind of a job? Just these two people command $1.5 million a year in salaries alone. According to an insider, their expense accounts are about 430, get it right, $403,000 a year apiece. So let's just call it $400,000. You got $1,500 in salaries. You got $800,000. Sorry, you got $1.5 million in salaries. You've got $400,000 in expense accounts. It would appear that their combined expenses are around about $800,000, and that's on top of the salaries. My math says that these two schmucks are pulling in over $2.3 million in perks and pay. I could be wrong. This is an allegation. The combined salaries of the next 6 people in their chain of command equal more than $1.5 million. And look, though we did, we couldn't even come up with an estimate of their reimbursed or incidental expenses. So here we are with the executive staff sucking over $4 million, as much as $5.5 million, that you thought was meant to help embattled Holocaust survivors, old Jewish people around the world, especially Ukraine and Russia, Egypt. We're talking about nearly $8 million sucked off the top layer. I wonder just how much they bring in and how much actually goes to their apparently exclusive Jewish recipients. Again, it's the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. They're playing on the... Okay, let's talk. The Nazi Holocaust was a terrible thing. Terrible thing. But far more Christians have been and are being subjected to equally terrible horrors every day, and there are more of them now being tortured, kidnapped, murdered than the Jews of the Holocaust. And why? Because they believe in Jesus Christ. Oh, good reason for me. He's a Christian. Kill him. What the hell? Don't give him any damn money. Give the money to the Jews. Give it to this young family that wants to move to Israel but couldn't come up with enough money. They did that. Christians. Oh, God, did I say Christians? I guess I did. I don't see the IFCJ raising money to help the hundreds of millions of Christians around the world who are being kidnapped, tortured, sold into slavery, and worse, at the hands of radical Islam. Radical Islam has been as hard on Christians as Nazis ever were on Jews. Relying on the very expert and highly polished American Israeli Jewish propaganda, the IFCJ has suckered well-meaning but horribly misinformed celebrities into shilling for them. Watch TV and see these people begging for money for it. They're either ignorant innocents or they're complicit. But these are people with names like Mike Huckabee, Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity, and the list goes on, and Ben Shapiro. I mean, anybody who shills for this organization is either stupid or they're criminally complicit, because we can't find any money going to Christians. That name is... I watched an ad, and here's Gail Eckstein walking amid the rubble of a bombing in Ukraine. I'm here in the worst part, and this woman, this Holocaust survivor, this old woman is scratching dirt and digging up carrots with her fingers, and the sight of a little old lady, bent and broken, crying and thanking, that's a great tool. That'll tug at the heartstrings. That'll open up the purse strings. That money will flow to the International Fellowship of Christians supporting Jews. I wish they'd at least be honest about what they're doing, because I have not been able to find any record where they're helping Christians. So why don't we call it what it is? For supporting Jews, because that's all they do. I don't dislike Jews. I just dislike this sneaky, insidious little approach. We're the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. Give us your money. It'll all go to Jews, even if they're not poor. We'll get it to them because we're damned if we'll get it to the Christians. Jews don't think much better of Christians than Muslims do. They're just less violent on the surface.